Welcome to ICANN Media. I'm your host, Rob Hislop. Right now, I'd like to introduce you to somebody that we ran into here at the Global Petroleum Show in Calgary. His name is Dave Glasswick. Dave, thanks very much for being here on ICANN Media.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. Now, this is your first visit to the Global Petroleum Show. What do you think of it?
It's amazing. It's huge. I'm absolutely blown away.
That's one of the things. I mean, there's probably about maybe a dozen pavilions going on, a lot of stuff outside. Is it a bit overwhelming for you?
Yeah, it's tough to do it all and see it all. You want to talk to everybody, but there's not enough time in the day.
Right. So you're familiar with the oil industry. This isn't, well, it's your first time at GPS. You definitely have a background in the oil industry.
Yes, I worked on drilling rigs for about 5 years before returning to school for petroleum engineering technology at SAIT.
Why did you decide to go back to school?
Working in the field, I realized that I was working in a very small part of a large industry, and that I needed the technical knowledge and skills to be able to move ahead in the industry and to be where I wanted to be in the future.
So tell us, you were in the industry for 5 years. Tell us what sort of jobs you did.
Well, on the drilling rigs, I started out as a roughneck and worked as a roughneck and motorman all the way up to derrick hand for about 5 years.
So it seemed like, I mean, you're obviously progressing with your career, but you feel you bumped into a bit of a ceiling then if you wanted to go on further.
Certainly, that is the case.
Yeah. So tell us what it was like on the rigs.
Well, it's when I first started, it was a few years ago. It was a little bit more rougher than it is now, but things have definitely improved in the past few years. Certainly safety-wise, and along with the types of people that you're actually working with side by side.
Tell us about some of the things from a safety perspective that maybe you would like to see changed.
Well, a lot of these changes are already happening, and they're moving throughout the industry, and they're moving from larger rigs and bigger projects down onto the smaller ones. The technology is evolving now where they're moving hands off the floor, so they're moving people out of the dangerous areas and automating that type of work now.
And I mean, if you look around this convention, you also see, I mean, there's simple things. I mean, you're talking about automation, but there's some things just as simple as a plain mat. You know, I mean, I say a plain mat, but obviously it's very specialized for its job, but it can save lives as well, can it?
Certainly can. Actually, the people at CatchCan, they have pioneered a lot of that stuff, and small things that really make a huge difference. Whether a guy's going to be able to break his hand or walk away from an incident without anything happening to him.
What did you see as far as the environment is concerned? Because, of course, you get a lot of people out there talking. I mean, they're concerned about the oil industry in general, the oil sands in particular, and the impact it's having on the environment. What sort of things did you see?
Well, I don't have a lot of experience with the oil sands in particular, but with my experience in drilling in Western Alberta, we take care of the environment. Part of the job is to leave clean, to not make a mess, to not spill millions of dollars in chemicals.
So when you hear about all the criticism, what do you feel that these people are maybe misinformed or taking things and exaggerating them, or just a different perspective that needs to be heard?
I think you hit the nail on the head there. I think misinformation is probably the biggest thing that affects the reputation of the oil and gas industry in Canada. It's not like we're out there trying to hurt the environment, and we do everything that we can to minimize the footprint that we do have on the environment.
Now, you have the benefit of joining the industry at a time when safety and protecting the environment is more of a concern than, say, it was maybe 20, 25 years ago.
That's correct, yeah.
So you must have heard stories as well as to what they used to do. And
I've heard stories, and but I think a lot of that too has been exaggerated throughout the years as well. When you hear old men talk about their war stories, sometimes they aren't actually how they actually happened.
Right. So when you hear about the environmentalists coming out and making their claims, what are your thoughts? You must hear some grains of truth in there as well.
Well, I think it's a matter of perspective too. People are looking at it from wholly the perspective of protecting the environment, or you also have to consider industry and the economy as well. And I think the trick is to blend all three to where it's acceptable for everybody.
Now, you going back to school at this time, is this a good time to be going back to school with the economy the way it is?
Certainly is.
So good planning on your part.
Certainly, yeah. Oh, well, it just happened to work out that way.
So where do you go now once you're done your schooling? What is the goal?
Hopefully I can find a company that will take me on to train me up to work as a well planner or drilling engineer. I would be more than happy to do that. That's what I want to do.
Are you getting any nibbles at all while you're walking around talking to the companies here, or are they perhaps not looking quite as hard right now because of the way the economy is?
Not looking quite as hard, and there's not a lot of producers at the show. There's a lot of suppliers and service companies here for sure.
So what do you do to get your name out there?
I have no idea. Try, apply, talk to whoever you can, whoever's willing to listen, I suppose.
Right. Well, good luck then in your chosen career, Dave.
Thank you.
All right, we've been chatting with Dave Glasswick here on ICANN Media.